On November 5th, 2020, I was invited by Litzky PR to partake in a Q&A session with members of the Hasbro Star Wars team, including Patric and Chris. Huge thanks to Litzky PR and Hasbro for arranging this Q&A session. Be sure to hit up the links down below to check out the responses that other members of this Q&A session were provided. Hasbro recently released the Black Series Anakin Skywalker figure. Unlike what was shown in the promotional images, the final product was missing his skirt piece. What happened, and has this been addressed? That's this figure right here. It doesn't have the skirt piece that the promo images had.
I'm not sure. That's not my line. We can look into it though and get back to you with a better answer, because I don't have one for you, and I don't think Patric does either.
Yeah, it's a good question, and certainly something we'll dig into, and we'll have LPR revert back with an answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry we don't have an answer for you on it, but we'll get you something.
At PulseCon, you unveiled a fantastic-looking Black Series Rey. In the film, her red lightsabers were unstable and erratic, just like Kylo's. But the final figure appears to have the normal, smooth lightsabers. Since this is just a prototype render, will the final figure have the unstable lightsaber blades?
Patric, do you know for sure on that?
I don't know. So that's another one we can follow up on if we need to.
I think they're smooth blades, but that's just me trying to remember from what I've seen of it. I don't have a 100% positive answer for you.
They were unstable, just like Kylo's.
Right.
Great. We will look into that and follow back up through LPR. Sorry about that, Victoria.
Many of the vintage collection figures from Rogue One, including Jyn Erso, Cassian Andor, K2SO, Chirrut Imwe, and Death Star Gunner, all have green name pills and color backgrounds. Why is this?
I think that was done for a consistent line look across those figures, and Patric can probably answer some of that a little better, but...
Yep, no, absolutely, yeah. So, I don't think it was I think it was basically like with our vintage line, obviously, we've got kind of the original Kenner figures that are, the template is set for those, but the cool thing about vintage is getting into these newer entertainment properties. And so it's interesting. Sometimes I ask our brand design team, like, oh, why is this one this color? And they go into detail on, the inspiration for this came from a stormtrooper in the original Kenner line or a droid. And so basically they're kind of tracing all of that throughout the years. And one thing we always talk about with the vintage collection is that precedent and consistency is so important. We definitely pay attention to those details. And so our brand design team, who are also fans, just like all of us, they have all that knowledge. They basically trace those arcs and precedents and try to recreate those. Now, sometimes I remember when we put Leia Bouche on a card back and recreated that helmet at the top, sometimes fans didn't like that and didn't want it to be consistent. So we try to strike that balance. But basically there's no kind of, it just happens to be the case that they're all from Rogue One, but it's trying to draw those ties to the past.
Right. Well, and with Rogue One, there weren't previous figures to reference for those two. So, but like Patric said, we'll get on a meeting and we'll be sitting there discussing whether the font in the pill is white or black, and how big the font is, and how big the pill is, and where it is, and all those crazy little details that we love as much as you guys.
In recent years, rumors have suggested that Lucasfilm is no longer permitting its licensees to create merchandise of Huttslayer Princess Leia. However, she was one of the options in your Black Series archive poll. Can you confirm if there is in fact a mandate preventing merchandise of Leia in that outfit from being made?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. We obviously, we get a lot of feedback from the fans, and kind of, we're always, thrilled to bring figures that Star Wars fans are passionate about. Right now, we're looking to grow the Black Series and the archive, and we're excited about that poll. And, Cody was the kind of clear choice in the first round, and so it seemed clear he was going to win. Right now, that particular version of Leia doesn't really fit where we're hoping to take the brand. But there's no kind of strict rules, and we're open to things in the future.
So this builds off of what Chris was saying in a recent episode of the Vintage Collection podcast, which we just started last month.
Yeah, I saw it.
Nice. At PulseCon, a refresh wave for the Vintage Collection was unveiled. Apart from maybe the Battle Droid, the other releases were met with not a lot of enthusiasm. So you guys did in 2015 in the 3 3/4 inch black series version of Anakin and Padme, just their main outfits from most of the film. In addition, you have high demand options such as Magna Guard, Bible First Clone Trooper, General Grievous, Echo Rebel Base Trooper, just to name a few. Why were these particular choices made?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think this goes back to kind of the idea that the goal and the strategic purpose of the specialty waves is for newer fans who, are kind of new to collecting, whether they're younger or in international markets or whatever. And so the goal of these is to offer those figures that, and this came out of kind of years of conversation with our international markets. It's the rationale for the archive collection as well. Like the whole point of the archive collection for Black Series was, hey, you're a Black Series fan, and in this case, you're a vintage fan. You're excited to get these new figures, but you also want kind of the core main characters from, back in the day. And this is a chance to get them out there. So again, these are entirely incremental to the line. They don't take the place of any newer figures. So they're purely a bonus. And if it's not for you, that's totally fine. Not you, Victoria, but you people out there, that's totally fine. In terms of why these figures were made, again, we do a lot of research through a lot of different tools. And we have kind of some of those more aimed at the casual fan. So that helped us point us in this direction. Some of the figures that you named off, the Echo Base Rebel Trooper, the Magna Guard, those are great characters. Maybe not, and we can disagree about this, but maybe not for a newer fan or a fan with a more casual knowledge of Star Wars. So that's the rationale behind the choice of those figures. And some of those we might be saving for the future for various reasons, but that's a little glimpse behind the curtain for the rationale.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Chris.